Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Don't know about you, Rob, but I'm in the mood for answering a couple of questions about property, which is just as well because we've got Anthony and we've got Jez sitting there on tenterhooks waiting for us to shed some light on their property dilemmas. That's how I imagine things anyway. I'm always imagining people sort of huddled over their phone, eagerly awaiting. They're probably not doing that at all. But let's imagine that they are because it makes me happier. We're going to get onto those in just a sec. But Rob, first of all, let people know how they can join our merry gang and get their question answered.
Yes, we've got carrier pigeons or Morse code. Take your pick. No, of course it isn't. Being a bit silly now. It's really the same two things as every week. It's the phone, which is 013-808 00035, normal rate supply, or the propertyhub.net/ask. Super simple. And as Rob said, we've got two people in. Let's go with Anthony first.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Anthony from London here. I'm a long-time listener of the podcast. Thank you so much for all the helpful information that you give out. I'm in a bit of a unique situation. Let me explain. I've been living abroad for 5 years and I've been studying for the last few years, so I have no income history in those few years. I've also never had a credit card in my life. However, I have £140,000 in savings, and I'd like to invest this in property when I return to England next month. What would you do in my situation, bearing in mind that it's going to be very difficult for me to obtain a mortgage, certainly within the first year or two? I'm thinking that I should invest in property using the cash. So, for example, buying 2 properties worth £70,000, then once I've had those properties for a year or two, it will be much easier for me to obtain a mortgage, especially as I build my income and credit history. So what would you do in my position? Thanks for your help. I look forward to hearing your answer on Ask Rob and Rob.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, quite a few people are going to be in that situation, and it is a tricky one. Without a credit history, it is going to be very difficult to obtain a mortgage. And if you can, it's not going to be particularly competitive on the rate. So the good news is that what you're proposing sounds pretty sensible. Just buying those properties in cash, or even one if you don't want to put all your cash down to start with, and owning it for a couple of years while you go about your life and do other things to build up your credit score, like take out a credit card, just even if you don't need it, just pay it off so you can build up the credit score there, take out a phone contract, do all that kind of thing. Just live your life. While you're doing that, your property will be making you some money, and a couple of years later, that won't be a barrier anymore. So it's annoying potentially that you have to buy in cash to start with, but you're in a position to, which is good. And it is only a challenge that you're going to have once. So it seems like you're thinking along exactly the right lines. That's what I'd probably do in your situation, but probably a good idea to check it out with a mortgage broker just in case.
Yeah, it's worth a go. I've seen people in similar circumstances obtain a mortgage before. Now, I'm not trying to make it sound like it's definitely possible or even easy. If there is a product out there, it's not going to be competitive. But if you can get into a product of any sort, even if it's not that attractive, it's going to do you probably more good than harm, because 1, you can leverage, and because 2, you're building up that credit score and history a lot quicker. So don't rule it out, although it sounds like you have to go down that path, and I agree, it's just worth checking just in case.
Okay, so thank you, Anthony. Now we'll move on to our next question. We've gone to great lengths to hire somebody to transcribe Jez's Morse code, and we've hired a voice actor to read out his question. So let's have a listen to that now.
Hi Rob and Rob, this is Jez Andrews from South East London. I just want to say a big thank you to you for all the weekly content that you're putting out. It's absolutely fantastic. I know it's helped thousands and thousands of people, so thank you so much. My situation is we just bought our very own home here at the end of last year in Dulwich, and we are looking to get started in the buy-to-let market. Now, our plan is to hopefully move out of London to somewhere more rural, Surrey, Sussex, or further down the southwest coast. And one of our things is we want to get started in the buy-to-let market. Now, should we, in 2 years' time, when our fixed mortgage ends, remortgage and pull some of the cash out to invest in a buy-to-let somewhere in the northwest? Or should we use the planning permission that we bought this place with to extend and grow our current flat into a 3-bed, 2 bathrooms, Our current plan is to move on from this place in 4 or 5 years' time, and then hopefully invest in a buy-to-let property after that, once we bought our own homes further south, down towards Surrey, Sussex area. Just wondering what your thoughts would be on this. Many thanks.
Thank you, Jez. That must have taken a while to beep out. Do you beep it out, Morse code? Anyway, great question, Jez. Thank you. There's no way we can answer this question and say it's definitely this or that. What we can do is give you advice to allow you to answer the question. So it's weighing it up, it's costing it out and looking at the results. What do I mean by that? Well, the only way to decide is looking at both options, looking at putting your money into a buy-to-let in the Northwest, or building out the work that you've got through planning permission and extend the current flat into a 3-bed. Look at both and say, right, okay, well, if we extend the current flat, what value will that add? How much in do we have to put? And then what will we get out? What will the value uplift be? What will be our potential returns in the future as well? And then take it against a buy-to-let in the Northwest and go, okay, so what can we get for our money here? And what return will we get? Now, remember, if you're living in the flat, you're not going to get a return. So you have to put the income that you'll receive as well and base that over the 4 or 5 years time that you're weighing up of possibly moving on. There's no clear-cut answer, but it's just going to come down to the numbers. Work the numbers out, include all the benefits from both, and hopefully then you've got a clear winner. I imagine there's going to be a little bit of sprinkling of emotion here as well, because it's your own home, and if you can live in it, it's a nicer home as well, and it adds value. And if they both work out the same, then you're probably going to lean towards that. I'm sure most people would, and nobody would think less of you. But weigh it up, work it out, do the numbers. The numbers will tell you the truth. The numbers will tell you where to go with this one. Rob and I, we can't. And if anybody else tries to tell you, oh, you should do it this way or should do it that way, then I'd ignore them. What you need to do is work out the numbers, and the numbers will guide you.
Yes, spot on. This is absolutely a numbers answer. Plug in your assumptions, work it out, and it will tell you the right thing to do. And that's easy for us to say because it's not us. When it's your own situation, it's difficult to do that. But if you take that approach, that will help you to strip the emotion out of it and get to what's likely to be, based on your assumptions, the best thing to do financially. But having done that, don't feel bad about adding the emotion back in. Because when it is your own home, that's always going to be a factor. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. There is more to life than just ROI calculations. Or so I'm led to believe anyway.
Really? You'll have to let me know.
All right, so there are no more pigeons pecking at the windows. So I think we can call it a day. That's 2 more questions dispatched. Do make sure that you get your own in. Give us a call 013 808 0035 or go to thepropertyhub.net/ask. We look forward to answering those for you next time. In the meantime, though, before we meet again next week, we will look forward to seeing you on Thursday for the Property Podcast. Until then, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.